And I am going to be the moderator for today's session. Now, fresh off our sharing session with your semester 6 seniors on internship. So now we're going to kick off another series of online forum known as Career Insights from LG243 graduates, where we're going to have your super seniors, all right, our LG243 alumni members sharing their experiences and whatnot for you guys, so that you guys can make whatever preparations from now on, in order that so that you can be successful, inshallah, God willing, in the future. And the seniors that we have chosen here, our alumni members, are bukan calang-calang kind of people. These are graduates that we, APB LG243, are proud of. And with us today, we have none other than my former student, Dinie Zamri, who is currently, if I'm not mistaken, an executive, corporate services, strategic communications, and administration at none other than Petronas. Hello there, Dinie. How are you?
Hello, sir. Thank you so much. How are you? I'm good.
Nice. All right.
It just feels weird because back then in the old days, I was also behind the camera, but you were evaluating me. So I feel like I'm still being evaluated by you now.
No, relax. No evaluation. Okay. All right. Okay. So, of course, to our fellow members of the audience, if you have any questions and so on, feel free to, you can either type them up anytime, okay, within the chat box, or you can wait during the Q&A session, unmute yourselves, and yeah. And of course, if you are in a presentable condition right now, by all means, do turn on your cameras. All right, the more the merrier. So yeah. Okay, this session is recorded. So yeah, and we will be sharing this on Eclipse's YouTube channel for future references. So yeah. Okay, so Dinie, can you can you briefly introduce yourself a bit and maybe share your career pathway, all the way to where you are currently attached to, from when you graduated until where you are right now.
Okay, hi, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Dinie Zamri. I'm 25 this year. Okay, it's a new year. I'm 25, and I'm from Seremban. And officially, I graduated. I finished my FYP on, I think, August 2023, and I started working at Petronas on November 2023 up until now. Still in the same position, corporate services in strategic communications and administration. And this department was also the department that I interned for. So yes.
All right. So basically, it was an extension from your internship.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So all right. So fellow students, yeah. So Dinie here is an example, because we have had many cases where, when you do very good during your internship and the company likes you and so on, and you can extend. So in other words, kerja dah terjamin lah. So yeah. All right. Okay. So now, but then again, of course, when they offer the extension and so on, you have the right to accept, which you did. But of course, you had the right to deny, which means you had the option. So yes. Why did you choose this particular organization and this particular field for your employment?
Truthfully, I think being an intercultural graduate myself, coming from English for intercultural communication, of course, we ourselves, the students, have a certain interest and aspirations for things lesser. And to me, at the time, I saw Petronas, of course, as a globally recognized organization. So I think that place presented an opportunity for me to enhance the skills that I learned throughout learning in APB in LG243. So, and also it's also a dynamic corporate environment. So I think at that time I could leverage my communication skills to create much more meaningful experience for myself. And also, maybe I also wanted to be in a company that values growth as a person individually, not just what I give to the organization. So yes, that's why I chose that.
I see, I see. All right, all right. That's so it's more than just you wanting to have the Petronas lanyard lah. All right, okay. So, can you please, tell the members of the virtual floor just, about your current roles and responsibilities at your current employment?
Okay, doing corporate services, basically I am the middle person for everything. So I am the consolidator for many, many things. And some of the things that I do include facility management. Okay, I'll explain a little bit about facility management. You see, Petronas, there are several businesses, many businesses, and also there are many plants. But I work in Twin Towers. So the only facility that I am taking care of is Twin Tower. So, but Twin Tower also has their own organization, lah, which is KLCC Urus Harta. So majorly I work with them lah. And aside from facility management, I also handle contract management. I am the focal person for governance and compliance there for my department. And also not just that, that is BAU. I also do organize my own project, which is called Lily, Learn It and Live It. It's part of our organization's sustainability approach. And also, the good thing about my department is that we encourage cross-functional involvement. So I do also handle social impact, and I am also involved with my previous interns department, which is media relations and editorial. So I do editorial job sometimes. So yeah, that's a little bit glimpse of how it goes, lah, sir.
I see. All right. Okay, seems like, it's like when you explain it, I'm like, oh, banyaknya kerja kau. So, but
Yes,
hey,
yes.
I mean, that's the reality of working, right?
That's the reality of
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I remember there was once I was telling, one of your classes, I was saying how internship is only 5% of what the real working life is.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Okay. So now being where you are right now, how did APB or specifically LG243, prepare you?
Personally, I don't think APB and LG243 prepared me solely just for work, but also for life in all its essence. Because aside from getting the privilege to be taught by extremely professional, experienced, and lovely lecturers, although sometimes it's also tough love, but that's just normal, LG243 and APB also gave me the system, the awareness of cultural and business competency. So because I remember as if it was just yesterday, I was also like all of you guys here in this online session, consistently drowned in continuous assessment. I kena belajar for tests, for online videos, presentation, evaluation, classes. So maybe at that time I didn't see it, but now I actually appreciate the system that I had back then. And I was also like you guys, kena buat translation punya papers, kena dissect movie, analyze novel, video. So all of the things that was learned and I went through with my peers and lecturers, I think is a mosaic product of the person I am today lah, sir. So sometimes bila I tengok movie pun, kita boleh still detect the fallacy. Kita still boleh detect maxim grisings, still analyze or over-analyze how people talk to me, converse with me, when people don't directly answer my question, also when having communication barriers. So hence why I say that LG243 is honestly holistic and all-rounded and has prepared me for the person who I am today lah. So sure, you're not doing finances and biology and STEM, but you are learning and doing life in general. So I really do think that APB and LG243 should be appreciated more lah. And if not by the general masses, it's you guys lah. You guys are a product of it.
Yeah. Just simpang siap. You were in the same batch with Ryan.
Yes, Shams
and so on. So your batch was what you guys started off during the MCO. Your semester 1 was online, right?
Yes, my MDS was online. I was online up until semester 4. Only one semester, semester 5, we had physical classes.
Guys. So Dinie's batch was the batch that only part 5 physical. And physical, I think it was. I remember that semester it was 50%, right? So out of 14 weeks, 7 weeks was online.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes, hence why I said lah, bila dia macam deja vu, bila belakang screen ni, so macam, oh, okay, kena buat video, sir.
Yeah. Okay, now you see, ever since you graduated, and or maybe while you were, graduating, when you were in semester six, all the way until now that you are working, were there moments where you had any like downs? Any downs, any part where you feel like lama, things are not doing so well and so on, and probably using certain adjectives that's not family friendly here. And so, how did you overcome these downs?
I think having downs is just natural. Everyone goes through it, if not every day, maybe seasonally. And after graduating, while also not having a job, while starting at the start of my job, in the middle of my job, and even after a year plus, I still do experience it every now and then. And I think this is how I work, but I'm not sure about the others. But I think majority of us, we work that way juga. Is honestly just to get to know myself first and how I self-regulate. So basically, it's just you needing to discover how your body and your mind works and what you lack and what you need to overcome from that. Because sometimes you also need to know how much time you need in order for you to experience the whole emotion and the whole experience of, that stage of grief, but also while balancing not to fall into the abyss of depression. Right, sir? Not falling too deep into it. So sometimes you just need to properly learn to regulate yourself, and it's painful sometimes, because of course everyone has experienced sadness, depression, frustration. So you just sometimes need to like snap out of it. So like for instance, how I do sometimes, it usually comes at night, lah, sir. It usually comes at night. So when it comes at night and when it happens, sometimes I just look at my watch and it's like, okay, patutlah, it's already 1 a.m. So do not believe anything that comes through your thought after 11 o'clock. Because majority of it is not true. It's just you, a reflection, a projection of things that you're overthinking and overanalyzing it. So if you have to go through stages of grief, do it properly. Follow the stages properly, experience the emotions properly, and let that be fuel to your fire. So yeah, also maybe you can talk it out with someone if you have someone that you trust, someone that you can confide in with, but not to like 100% vent, because sometimes venting do work, but you also need to properly say, I'm feeling a little bit this and that. How do you feel about it? What do you see that I should do? Sometimes it's just nice to hear another perspective, kan, sir? So yeah, I think that's how I deal with it, sir.
I mean, yeah, I do like how you say that, yeah, we all have our downs, we all have, grief. And so, I mean, to be honest, it's part of being human, actually. So, yeah, but I like how you say that, to deal with the stages of grief properly and not just let things loose and whatnot. All right. Yeah, that's actually very good insight, with regards to that. And I do agree, yeah. Our thoughts, because when you mentioned that, after 11, I'm like, wait, lah. It's like, it's during that time lah, tiba-tiba mau emo suddenly.
Yes.
Like my playlist will go from hip hop to like emo, So it's like, why do I even have that playlist? I have no idea.
Yes. So don't trust your thoughts after 11. Just go to sleep.
Yeah, just go to sleep. All right. Okay. So that one would be the downs, but can you share with us a memorable experience you had or you have, at Petronas? Something that made you feel that made you feel good. So yeah.
I would say there are downs, but there are also many ups that compensate the downs. So I think that's just naturally how life works. And many of the memorable things that I experienced throughout Petronas are usually when I am on the field doing the work and not just on my desk. Because I still am very actively involved with emceeing and hosting. So during my internship, I think that one of the reasons that I was offered was also because I took the opportunity to host my internal Raya event. So it was like a totally out of comfort zone punya situation where you had to host an event that is like budgeted so high with 5 to 6 thousand of people inside the hall. So I think that was one of the moments that I was very proud of, because despite being an intern, I managed to go through that, learning the ways how the business works, the lingos are, and just basically liaising and collaborating with many other departments on that. And it's still, I still consistently get invites to host many events, but of course sometimes work does not allow me the time and privilege to do so, and so it's just like that. But aside from that, aside from emceeing and hosting, I also do find joy when I collaborate with the other teams in my department. So like I mentioned, I used to collaborate and is still collaborating with media relations and editorial team, and also my social impact team, where for social impact, we deal with students and teachers throughout the program that we host lah. And that also for media relation, recently I went to Terengganu because there was a reopening of our EcoCare punya center for sustainability. So yeah, I got to go there and experience tanam apa tu, tanam pokok bakau, and just basically lalu semak-semak dan all the mud. So yeah, those are one of the memorable things lah that I got the privilege to experience.
Nice, nice. All right. I mean, yeah, I do. I mean, I feel you, because sometimes when you get to go outside, outside of your daily job,
Yes.
like in your case, probably I'm assuming it's behind the desk. Like in my case, now behind the desk lah, because
Yeah,
I'm
of course,
marketing,
still.
and so on. But when we get to go to do other stuff and so on, yeah, it's fun, to be honest, and it gets to develop our repertoire, our
Yeah.
skill set, and so on. So yeah, okay, all right, okay. Now, as you mentioned that your job right now is an extension from your internship. You level up lah, okay? You level up from internship and so on. So, but aside from that, did your internship play a role? Where what other roles did your internship play to where you are right now?
I think yes, my internship did play a pivotal role in trailing my journey and my pathway to where I am currently now. But also, as mentioned, having had the privilege to be given the opportunity itself by my team, maybe because waktu awal, this is one of the things that I would like to encourage you all. When you go into your internship and when you are assigned with your job, make sure that you do it properly. Do it properly, because all of you guys are graduates of LG243, and you are basically equipped with many of the things that organizations require from fresh grads, from employees. So do it properly. And maybe it's because I took my job seriously. Like, I didn't see it as an internship. I see it as a proper job that I have to be committed to every day, and they see my commitment, so they presented me with more opportunities. From then I get to host this, and from then I get to join certain events where I can just fully show that I'm capable for the real world. So please hire me. So things like that. So yeah, maybe in a sense people call it visibility. So make sure that you're visible out there. Don't just sit behind your desk and go to the pantry, or make sure that you're involved with your team as well. Get to know them personally. Have good, connection and networking with them, so that if not them, maybe the others can help you in finding a job. Yeah, in one day.
Okay, all right. I mean, I like the fact that you mentioned about visibility and so on, because like I mean, if I may share, I remember when I went for my internship. Of course, like in my line, we had to go to teach in schools, and I recall what happened was that school did not accept students from faculty education UiTM because someone buat hal. So I won't say what hal, but it was a major issue. And then finally the school opened up, and the first batch that went there after they blocked UiTM was myself and my 3 friends. So we went there, and the faculty explicitly told us to leave a good impression. And I think we left an impression so good that we set the bar so high that I bumped into one of the teachers in Penang when I was in Penang last week, and that teacher said that cikgu practical so far paling best batch engkau tau, and I was like, whoo. So yeah, and that was back in 2012. So yes, and of course, to be honest, what we did, I mean, not just I Sorang je, even my other three friends, was actually visibility. To be honest, because we bring the name of the university, of course, yes, and eventually we bring up I mean, it's for us ourselves, and I like how you mentioned about like networking, you know, because yeah, people that when you go for a company, someone is going to know another someone.
Yes.
So
it's always like that.
Yeah. All right. And because like to be honest, Dinie, my job is that after I graduate, lecturer, private sector, I was a recruiter, and now here.
Yeah.
All of my 3 jobs was someone recommended. Someone told me, "Hey,
exactly.
bro, yes."
Networking.
Exactly. Okay, I like it. Yeah. So kelas pula. So students. My bad. All right. So, fellow students, what Dini mentioned is true. Okay, networking is important, and in order for you to have that networking, you got to make sure that you have your visibility, right? Okay, now Dini. Okay, spending like 3 years. Okay, yeah. I mean, I know for a fact that you were from college matriculasi, so yes.
Yes.
And then spending 3 years, 6 semesters in UiTM. Apatah lagi, 4 of the semesters were online. You terperuk kat dalam rumah.
Yes.
Okay. So there, and then when you went out, so being in a monocultural university, okay. Then when you went out and so on, you interacted with people from different cultures, different backgrounds. How was the experience, to be honest?
To be honest, yes, coming from a very monocultural university and then suddenly getting into a workforce that is diverse in cultural background, if not familiar background. I deal with them every day. Friends who I go lunches with are people from different backgrounds. Agencies that I deal with are people from different cultural backgrounds. My international subsidiaries are people from different cultural background, different continent, different time zone lagi. So, and sometimes even the people who I am very comfortable in confiding in with at my job pun is someone from a different cultural background. So what I'm trying to say is that when you have that experience, I think it gives you more sense of humility, and empathy, growing in you when you engage with them, because generally we are all God's creation. So masing-masing pun ada agama sendiri. We have ours. But no religion ever teaches us to discriminate one another. So so the experience that I have with my friends from different cultural backgrounds, that honestly is the one that I cherish the most, and makes me grounded every day. Because in no way that a normal person would ever feel superior over another. Especially you see these days, online discourse is very, very chaotic and menjatuhkan. But when you deal with people from different cultural background, you get to know that they're just like us. They see us as someone from a different cultural background as well. If they can deal with us normally, why can't we deal with them normally as well? So I think I would say that the experience that I have with them are the ones that I cherish the most. Yeah.
All right. Interesting. Okay, now now we go back a bit. Back when you were a student, what would you say was like the most valuable thing you learned during your 6 semesters in LG243, which is applicable to where you are right now?
I think during my many semester as a student, there are many things that I learned, which you guys are currently learning as well. Majority of it is translation skills, interpersonal skills to negotiate. But I think that's all within the classroom now. But one skill that I think is the most important outside the classroom is of course it's mainstream, it's cliche, but it is communication skills and also crisis management skills. Crisis management skill is not just crisis for work, but for you. When you yourself are in a crisis, you cannot project good things outside, which sometimes may lead to communication barrier. People don't know what's going on with you. And that also affects your interpersonal skill. When you are not dealing with your crisis internally properly, the things that you project is also not proper to people. So I think having had the experience of, even though learning online, but I think sebab learn online I jadi lagi macam, equipped with that. But we read through text, so we don't talk every day. And sometimes when people post things that are provocative, we feel like, cakap pasal aku ke? Oh my God. So it's because, of course, dalam kelas pun kita ada dispute tau, sir. And it's just natural. So I think, crisis management skill, communication skill, interpersonal skill are one of the most things that I'm very thankful of learning throughout LG243 lesson.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to highlight that you mentioned about crisis management. That is, to be honest, a skill that I think if a student were to okay, maybe not master yet, but to be good at that. I mean, companies, I think to me, companies value those with having crisis management skills, to be honest. Yeah.
Because
Alright.
they measure you from what you can give to the organization, what value you create and present to the table. Yes.
Okay, so all right. Now again, we're gonna go back, but in front a bit. Let's talk about internship. I mean, okay, as what you've mentioned that your job here in Petronas is an extension of your internship. So, how to say? In your opinion, how should students choose an internship placement that aligns with career goals if at that point of time they do have career goals? How should they choose an internship?
I think one important thing that I can highlight being a graduate of LG243 is that you most definitely can do anything being a graduate of intercultural communication students. I myself, I'm working in corporate, previously doing media for my internship, but currently doing corporate services. But still, it's under strategic communications. But just to share, so my friends all around me, they are all doing their own thing. So I have friends who are doing HR. Some are doing industrial relations, which is a much more specific role under HR. Some are working with commerce. Majority are copywriters. So some are doing marketing, some are doing public relation, and some have had the opportunity to, work with, if not intern, work with embassies and collab with them. We can go into foreign affairs, and also one of my friends is a critical journalist. So basically, this during journalism lah. And some are involved with hostings, and I just want to say that the opportunities are endless, but you just first have to know what is it that you want. What is it that aligns with your goals, and what does not align with your goals? What aligns with your moral values? Because I would also like to mention this is just an insight. If you're stuck somewhere and you feel like you don't belong, don't stay down. Come on lah. Okay, I think majority of us in here are Gen Zs, so, and I think it's just natural that some have that perception that we are weak. But honestly, we just live for ourselves and people we care for. So do what you want. Figure out what you want. If you are interested in beauty and cosmetics, go for companies that have those. Go for companies that offer those. If you love working with famous people, celebrities, go with agencies that are involved with them. And if you're blind like me, go into corporate lah. But there are many types of corporate juga. There are oil and gas industry, which is like Aramco, Petronas, Shell, Petros, Petron. If you're into airlines, you can go for Batik Air, Air Asia, Malaysia Airlines. If you're into direct consumers, you can go for P&G, Johnson & Johnson. So I think everything can be searched now. So you just have to figure out what role you want to play in society when you go for your internship. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I do. Okay. I like how you said that the LG243 can go anywhere.
Yes.
Because I remember there was this one time when I was a student. We had a session. Tassel at that time we didn't have LG243, but we had LG220, the previous version of now known as LG240. And the speaker said that you guys language students, korang boleh pergi anywhere. You guys can take any jobs.
Yes.
That's not science and tech.
Yes, exactly.
So it's like, yeah,
Especially
because
kita language students, kita comm student, we also learn culture. So what more? Those are the things that organizations need these days.
true. All right. Okay, so moving on to my next question. Okay, so what steps? So we have over here. I noticed from our audience, I can see some of my semester 1 students over here. Sem 3 macam ada, Sem 4, Sem 5, Sem 6 pun ada. Any semester 2 students here or not? From the audience. Now, because fun fact, because Dinie, I can't teach yang batch Sem 2 because my cousin's a student, so yes, tak boleh ajar.
Conflict of interest,
Conflict of
understand.
interest. Dah lah boss pun ada dalam Google Meet ni juga. Alright, any semester 2 students over here? Alright. Okay, outside Daniel. Okay, alright, welcome. Okay, so now as you know that you have Sem 1 until Sem 6 here. So what steps that you think your juniors can take now to better prepare themselves for the future?
Do your research now. Do your research now. Research, what I mean by research is find out what you like. Find out what you're after. Find out what skills that you want to enhance. If you want to enhance your public speaking skills, go for it. Do it now. If in any sense a career that is lucrative, research now, because truthfully, not just Petronas offer things like this, because there are many other things that you can build yourself for in the future. So also, I think start Sem 1 boleh dah kot sir, if not Sem 5, Sem 6, is to solidify your resume, your CV. So what I mean just now is to do your research now and find out what skills that you want to enhance, is so that you can put that in your CV. Because at the end of the day, that is the only thing that recruiters are looking into. And it's not macam kita buat evaluation tanda kertas, okay, 10 minutes, beberapa, an allocated time for him untuk tengok your paper. No, they just see through prop, they see one good thing, okay, they put aside. It's a 5-second matter thing. So do things now for you to put into your CV and resume, and also enhance your interviewing skills and your interpersonal skills. By interpersonal skills, I mean is how you talk to people, your networking, and how you can just blend in with people. So if you are an avid lover of arts, go find what organization and companies can offer that. And if you're into content creation, look for something that you can be a part of. If you want to be a part of something big that contributes to sustainability, go for sustainability companies, but do it now. I used to maybe back then when I was a student, I used to think that was not important, and I had all the time in the world to think of, but I would say don't waste your time. You can start now, even if you are in semester 1.
Bukan I dulu pernah belete to your class ke kata?
Yeah, exactly, sir. I know. That's why I'm just echoing what you say, because I had to learn it the hard way.
Yeah, but I do agree, because being a former recruiting specialist, yeah, they just take like 5. They don't. Yeah, we never did. We never went through like, oh, nampak resume, tengok. No. It's just.
Yes.
So yeah, especially for companies like Petronas, which I assume they receive receive resumes frequently and sometimes in high numbers and so on. So yeah. Okay, I mean, since you mentioned about developing your interpersonal skills and so on, what about online presence? Because you said you've done media before. What's your opinion on that?
Digital footprint is real, guys. So you gotta be careful with what you put outside, because I think it is applicable to all. Even we do it. We judge a person by how their online presence is. So you take a look at this one particular person and feel, oh, he's like this, oh, he's so close about the certain way of showing his highlight stories, etc, etc. So yeah, so I think in a sense you have to be mindful and also careful, but I am not dimming your light, because of course we have our own personality, especially online. But just be careful and mindful, because sometimes it might bite you back. So yeah, also being intercultural communication students ourselves, I think we are equipped with the knowledge to have empathy and also to be mindful of what we put online and outside. So yeah, just be mindful. You have to think twice, not just pak. You just type, and then you post, you tweet. No, especially Twitter. Twitter is dangerous, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, okay. I like your insights. I like your insights. Okay, so my follow up, my next question. Now, is there anything that you wish you had either known, learned, or placed more emphasis on before graduating?
I wish I emphasized more on my time management. My time management. Because, in a sense, especially when you enter the workforce, everything is urgent, everything is important. So, you need to know which one is the priority, which one you can hold off for 1 or 2, 3 days, if not a week, and just basically sort it out from there. Because as you grow older, as you are much more longer in the organization, I think you get more important. Is that how you say it? Yeah, you jadi lagi penting. So you are the center of focal for everything. So and then sometimes we have already a long list of what we want to do for the whole day, but it's always disturbed by people coming asking blah blah blah. Okay, Dini, how to so macam you have to know how to manage your time and also your workload. So back then I just do. But now entering the workforce is a little bit different than studying. So yeah, I think my time
Um,
management is
okay, since you mentioned about time management, right? Okay, so I mean, of course, being a student yourself, if not you, I know there were a few people from your class that sometimes will send me a message and so on, blah blah blah. So, dapat extension dah?
no, sir.
Deadline. All right. No. So if you're talking about deadlines, is there a difference between deadlines at in the workplace and that? Okay. Of course, deadlines in university is very flexible. Sometimes boleh cuba minta extension. What about the workplace?
I think in the workplace, how to explain. Okay, deadlines in the workplace is also somewhat similar, but also different. There are certain jobs where you can ask for, is it okay if we do this by this and this? But if they are agreeable with that, then you okay lah. If they're not agreeable with that, then you have to negotiate lah. But I have until this and that to do a certain thing. And I think this one does not require management punya approval ke apa, but we have processes, of course, in the workforce. So you have to adhere to that. You have governance to comply to. So I would say that it's actually detrimental deadline in the workforce, but it's just a matter of how you talk with the person that is giving you the deadlines and the extension. It's how you negotiate that. But also sometimes there are just certain things where you have to give it end of business day. That's it. But sometimes it's just easier to give it fast so that you don't have to deal with it anymore. Yeah, sir.
That I agree. Okay, so now soalan cepumas. Okay, especially since we have a couple of, I noticed I could see a couple of semester 6 students here with us. Okay, so soalan cepumasnya adalah latihan industri, internship, and FYP. So I know your batch has a very interesting history with these two. Now, okay, juggling between these two, and I think you can confirm this, is not easy. So, especially to those who are in semester 5, next semester they're going to go for internship, and also your juniors, what advice would you give them?
One advice that I would give for both. I think this is applicable for both FYP and intern. To juggle between those two, FYP and intern. The cliche answer is to not procrastinate ever. That's the cliche answer lah. But the real answer that I genuinely feel like I had to learn it the hard way is to just honestly, to just be brave, to don't be scared to make mistakes. Make it exist first, then you can make it perfect later. I think this applies to my FYP paper back then and also the intern job that was given to me lah, because majority of my job includes copywriting and just basically writing and creating. So make it exist first, you can make it perfect later. Because I'm sure some of you, if not all lah, can relate to this. You have this like impending doom looming over you, because at the back of your head, you you have so much, you have to do this and that and so forth. But also you have this sense of perfectionism. That standard that you sendiri uphold and withhold yourself to make it perfect at the first try, which stems from a certain upbringing lah, of course. But it's okay. So trust me, that is not ideal, having it perfect the first time, and it is rarely achievable. So end up you tak buat pun until the last minute. Lepas tu you say, oh, bila dah last minute ni baru boleh buat. I can work under pressure. I have to have a drive to work, etc. Padahal it's just you against yourself je early on, at the early stage. So this is an advice for me juga lah. Still having to work and create things sometimes. It's a constant learning process for all of us. So just make it exist first, you can make it perfect later. Because comments and amendments from lecturers, superior, even edits from your own self is inevitable. So even dah besar panjang pun, when I take a look at my FYP back then pun, I always think like, oh, I should have done this. Aku patut edit macam ni, aku patut tulis macam ni. Doesn't mean that it's bad, just simply means that you evolve lah. You've already evolved and that you learned and that you are better now. So just make it exist first, and you can make it perfect later. Because regardless, there are always stages that you need to go through. Nanti you kena tunjuk your superior, kena tunjuk your lecturer, your FYP, superior, you punya kerja. Nanti mesti dah akan ada comment. So take it as a way to improve, and then you buat and then you tunjuk balik. So it's always that process. It's a back and forth process, but eventually you will reach the end. You will submit your FYP. So yeah.
I like how you said that, to make it exist first, just put it out there first and then slowly, touch out and so on. I do agree on that. And I do agree that, and you yourself, you mentioned that now that you're working, when you look back at your FYP and you're telling yourself that, oh, I could have done this. Yeah, because it shows how much we evolved. And I think it's similar with, since all of us here are language people, right? Now, I won't ask about how you were back in secondary school, but I know that I myself back in secondary school, I was dumb when it comes to maths and so on, especially additional mathematics. Then when I had a look at my niece's at maths textbooks so on, I read it and I was like, hey, why does it make sense now? So
yes.
Yeah. Okay, because it shows how much our maturity, our intelligence have evolved over time. So yeah,
yes.
Tapi fun fact lah, Dinie, I actually recently I looked back at my degree FYP. I looked at this, I was like, ya Allah, what I wrote there memang sampah. So yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now, so continuing on, what advice would you give to your juniors about making the most or maximizing their studying experience here in APB in LG243?
One advice that I would really like to give is to just try everything. You just need to try everything. Sometimes when I say try everything, it's not even big things. Sometimes it's just maybe change your schedule a little bit every day. Maybe usually you wake up at 9, but suddenly, okay, I need to try and wake up earlier so that I'm a little bit fresh. I can journal ke, I can like kalau yang Islam kita boleh subuh awal sikit ke apa ke instead of last minute. So just try everything. There will never be an age where you rasa macam okay, everything is complete now. No. Even at the age of 60, even at the age of 70, there's always new ways where you can try new things and enhance how you live. It's not just learning as a student, but it's just living as an individual yourself. So yeah. just try everything. You'll never know what you will be good at, because if you don't try, you don't know that, oh, I'm not good at this. But do you want to be good at it? Then you can decide from there. If you feel like, oh, this is not for me, I'm not good at this, and I don't have the heart to do it, so okay, it's okay. At least you tried. You can try in something else. So yeah.
I like that. I like that. You know, the daredevil attitude. You know, just like try je and so on. Yeah. Because that I have friends yang macam tu. Even I myself am like that. Because fun fact, TESOL was never my first choice. I never wanted to do TESOL. I was a sportsman through and through. And when SPM English was the only A I got, so I was like, try je lah TESOL. And then when I entered there, I was like, so I'm going to be a future teacher. And then suddenly I saw it as karma hitting me back, because I was public enemy number 1 back in high school. You know, so always like gaduh dengan cikgu. And I was like, okay. But then, we trial and error and so on. Yes. I like that. I like that. Okay, so before we go on to the Q&A session, is there any additional insights or advice that you'd like to share with the audience?
Additional insight and advice. Okay, I think I'll just hop on to what I said, try everything just now. I understand that sometimes not everyone has that daredevil attitude, but because probably some just feel not confident in doing it. But honestly, if you talk about insecurities, the reason why you're so self-critical of yourself and why you always think about your insecurities is just because you are caring too much about yourself. Nobody cares that much about you, pun, honestly. Everyone just, if you go out, everyone just take a look at you like 5 seconds and say, oh, cantik, go on with their day. Oh, kalau dia jatuh, oh, okay, kelakar. Kalau kelakar pun, kalau tergelak pun, okay, 1 or 2 minutes tergelak, terfikir dalam kereta, but they'll proceed with their day. So, if you're feeling a little heavy on the self-loathing and self-critical because of your own insecurities and what's in your mind, just snap out of it and just, the reason aku insecure sangat ni sebab I'm just a little bit more caring about myself but actually no one cares pun about me. So you just have to have that attitude, because I'm sure that you pun tak care sangat about others who does not benefit you, who does not care about you, who does not love you. The only people that we are pretty much very what we care about is just family, friends, probably some lecturers. Yeah, so this is that.
Okay, that's an interesting insight about, because I never thought about when you said that, about because sometimes I myself am self-conscious juga. Yeah. So but when you say that, whenever if kita when you say kita terjatuh orang gelap, but then it ends there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I never saw it from that vantage point. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes things just happen. Just carry on.
Yeah, true. Just carry on. Okay, all right. Okay, so thank you so much, Dinie, for responding to the question, for sharing with your juniors, with the audience. So I'm opening the floor for any questions. Oh, and also with us joining us just now is, I see Mr. Aizat. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Aizat.
Oh, sir, thanks, Aizat.
Assalamualaikum. Hi, Mr. Zach. Hi, Dinie.
Hi, Aizat. How are you?
All right. Okay. So members of the floor, if you have any questions, you can unmute, or you can just put your questions in the chat box. So yeah.
Yes. So are things still online, sir?
Now we are very. It's the weight has shifted tremendously for face to face. So yeah, very heavy on face to face now.
See.
It's not like back then, like for 14 weeks, 8 to 10 online, 10 to 12 online, then 2 to 4 online.
It was something else back then, so okay, good to know that everything's physical these days.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So members of the floor, any questions? Anything to ask? Okay, all right. Okay, from Irmi. Okay, we have a question from Irmi Umaira. Okay, Irmi Umaira, semester 3, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, what made you decide to intern? To intern at Petronas?
What made me decide to intern at Petronas? Honestly, I was just applying here and there because I didn't at that time, I understand how critical lah the timeline is, and of course kita pun risau dapat ke tak tempat intern yang aku nak, dapat ke tak intern in general itself. So at that time I just applied to many other things, but initially I didn't got any internship placement. I applied to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I applied to certain embassies, I applied to other big four companies, which was just random, honestly, because at that time it was just me being desperate, needing an internship placement lah to finish off my studies. But the only offer that I got was custom. Yes, custom I got, and it's another story lah, custom too. And then I also applied for Petronas lah, but you know, knowing how Petronas is, how big of the organization is, because I applied only through website. I applied only through website because there are the career punya ni kan postings for interns, so they're on the lookout. So I didn't actually had high hopes because it's Petronas, and then I nearly just got into the custom as an intern of what I am not sure. They didn't even explain many things about the job description, so I was just scared that I'd just be a coffee girl and not learn anything. So, but eventually at the end, so we had to start our internship early March, and they only reached out 16 February something. So it was just me, desperation. So when they reached out, I was very thankful, of course. So yeah, I actually had no hopes, but alhamdulillah, itulah ketentuan dia. So of course, we would want to intern at good organizations for us to have ample amount of knowledge that we can bring through after graduating. So I suggest just go for it. You'll never know what your luck is. Kita tak tahu rezeki kita, so just go. Do not reject yourself early. Faham tak? It's not even them rejecting pun. It's you rejecting yourself because, oh, tak nak lah apply, takut lah aku tak layak. You never try, you never know.
Yeah.
So just throw it everywhere. So just apply everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I if I may share, I once when my sister graduated from UiTM, she was looking for jobs, and I told her, of course, you know, she was looking at the websites and so on, and then they had 5 years experience and so on, and she said, I kata lah kat dia, I kata hang apply lah yang ni, and she said, tak, yang ni dia kata 5 years experience, and then I told her, apply je, what's the worst that could happen? Kau kena reject je.
Betul. And if pun, we'll never know that if they reach out, and then probably from there you can negotiate with the skills that you have. Because sometimes the reason dia nak lama-lama punya tempo tu is just to see what experience you have. Yes.
Because as well, you mentioned desperation. Sometimes companies are desperate too. So yeah. Okay. And okay.
Play the mind game.
Good. Okay, now, so maintaining on the topic of internship, another subsequent question by Mary Clarissa Ortiz, also from semester 3. Do you have any tips when researching for companies for internships?
When researching for companies for internship, I suggest that there are many layers to it. So firstly, of course, you have to look at the website. If they have a main domain for that certain company, then I suggest you to read it through, see what about the company, what they offer, what they do, and if it's something that aligns with your goals. So that's one. It's just basically do a research on the company itself generally, and then you can proceed into going into the deep digging, the deep dive. So I think there are certain platforms like Glassdoor where you can see people who have worked for the organization and what they say about the company. So usually that's a good place to also look into the company. Because sometimes people are very honest there. Yeah. So look at what the company offers and then cross-check with what the workers have had the experience.
Yes.
And that's one of the tips.
And also, if I may share on Glassdoor, this one, of course, I won't mention the name of the company. There's this one, let's call this company X, right? Now, the company X, the people working there, the experience, let's just say it's not pleasant. Right, so Glassdoor, it got bombarded. So what that company did was, this came from my friend who works there. The company, the CEO, forced all of the existing staff to give positive reviews so that the negative reviews tenggelam. So if you are looking at Glassdoor about all positive, go back, check the others. So yeah. All right. Okay. Okay. Maybe we'll have 1 to 2 more questions. So we have another question from Wan Nur Alia. Is it a semester 6, Wan Nur Alia? All right. So hi Dini, I have a question. How do you maintain your work-life balance?
How do I maintain my
Dah
work-life
Google.
balance? I think it depends on who you are individually juga. So once you enter the workforce, you also need to show an impression that you care about your work, that you are giving your best, you are committed to it, but you are also committed to your own self. Because if you cannot have a healthy mind and body, how are you going to contribute to the organization? So it starts with you. But usually, sometimes ikutlah juga faham to have superiors yang understand work-life balance and want to have work-life balance for themselves. Sometimes you just have to have that strong will untuk, oh, okay, I'm not going to layan after 7, for instance lah. If you feel like 6 is terlalu awal. Tapi I think these days people pun nak juga work-life balance. So usually they don't kacau pun at night, unless if it's urgent, unless if it's crisis related, where sometimes yelah, mana media needing to write press releases, crisis risk reputation reporting stuff. So yeah, those are seasonal lah, but not every day that they kacau your work-life balance. So you can have that, but it all starts with you juga.
All right. I also like that, sometimes kita tak boleh berkira sangat when it comes to work. Yeah. Okay, now, this next question. Okay, I like this question by Miza Hanisa Zainuddin, semester 1 student. As someone who is quite reserved, sometimes reverence towards someone older than you affect the way I communicate with them. So I'm interested to know, how do you mingle and build connection with your colleagues that are older than you?
I think this is one of the things that I learned through experience lah. How to communicate with people, colleagues that are older than you, is just basically let them talk about themselves. You have to ask the right questions that will make them talk about themselves. Because usually when you ask, you're like, so how was your weekend? So you're like, and also you need to also be observant and genuine as an individual yourself. You need to tahu, oh, dia ni mak orang, dia ada 4 anak. So maybe you can ask about daughter. Okay, for instance lah, let's say the name is Puan Ina. So, oh, Puan Ina, khabar? So she's like, oh, anak Puan Ina dah balik ke? Tengah cuti SEM ke sekarang? So she's like, these people will talk. And they will continue to have that conversation with you, and then boleh tanya, and then it's back and forth. So like, if you don't know how to respond, you can say, okay, like, boleh je cakap, okay, alhamdulillah, moga mudah lah urusan anak Puan Ina tu. So you need to let them talk about themselves. That's one thing that I can share lah.
All right, okay, that's interesting. You know what? Yeah. I'm going to apply that one day. Okay. Okay, another question is by Ivarina Lara Zairi, semester 5 students. How do you stay motivated when it feels like you're the slowest to catch on?
Understand. When you feel like you're the slowest to catch on, I think that's just normal. When you feel like you're always the last in the room, and why do you feel like it's harder for you to do that certain thing, to learn that certain thing, to complete that certain thing? How do you stay motivated? Is just basically just keep swimming. It's okay if the pace is slow, but as long as you're moving, you're still doing. So you just do consistently. Just show up for yourself lah. Just show up for yourself if you can't show up for others. You take care of yourself, show up for yourself, just do. If it's little today, it's little. Probably tomorrow you can add up a little bit more. And then maybe the third day, it'll be whack again. So you feel like, oh, okay, mood is a little bit low today, I'm still demotivated. It's okay, as long as you do. But don't ever stop.
Okay, just keep moving even at a slow pace. Okay, Okay, all right. So, okay, we got two more questions.
Yep.
Another one is by Alia Rohana Roshdi. How do you recommend for us to go about exploring and enhancing what we like or are interested in relating to the one you mentioned about putting in your CV?
I think, how do you go about exploring enhancing what you like and what you're interested in is firstly to get to know yourself. If you feel like you're a certain person who likes to talk, probably you can go into public speaking. Probably you can go into things that require you to collaborate with people. You can join events. You can join volunteering programs that requires you to collab with people, requires you to help, requires you to talk, requires you to learn, to teach. There are many things that are available these days. If you're into teaching, you can go to Teach for Malaysia, I think. And if you are into basically NGOs helping the ones in need, you can try volunteering for National Cancer Society in Malaysia. That's where I used to volunteer, and that's where I think one of the most important lessons that I learned lah, and that I can put in my CV. So yeah, it's just basically knowing yourself. If you're a little bit reserved, if you feel like you're not someone who blends well in the crowd, then probably you can join online sessions where you get to learn what skill that you can upskill, or you can probably improve your writing skill or your translating skills. And if you feel like you're at a certain place where you can take jobs for it, maybe you can also continue on doing that. If you never try, you never know. Sometimes when you do a certain job, you start small lah. If it's a copywriting job, if it's a translating job, you start small. You start with something high school student needs ke apa ke. I think everything is accessible these days, if not in LinkedIn, in Instagram, in Twitter, TikTok. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So now moving on to so now we have our last question is by Asha Atika Astro. What advice would you give to students applying for internships at Petronas to demonstrate their readiness for the challenges of working in a global corporation? Sorry.
One advice that I would like to give to you in regards to applying for internship at Petronas is, I hope this helps, but usually the first impression that we have of you is your CV and resume. Because if in any sense, contoh lah, if my colleagues pun memang cari intern, like I've previously done, my colleagues cari intern and they want someone from LG243 because I was also an intern for them kan. So they just basically ask, I want resumes for us to vet through which one we want to choose. So usually they will look on that. So maybe you can learn on how to properly build a strong resume, a strong CV, not the one tip I can give you is these days it's not the coloured ones yang comel-comel tu yang diterima, it's the ATC punya tu, that format. It's ugly, yes, but it's strong. So you can play your words in there based on what you did. So it's how you write it, it's how you show yourself, it's how you jual diri lah, how you lobby yourself, because eventually kita nak orang ambil kita ni. So of course like people want to know what can you give. So we have to show them what we can give. So yeah, I think that's one thing that I would like. I to prepare yourself to just solidify your CV.
Yeah, I mean when you mentioned about the ATC though, I would say it's ugly. It's bland, yes, but it's professional.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very.
It shows that you are mature, kan? So.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Okay. So and that would so with you answering that question, that concludes our session for today. All right, so thank you so much, Dinie, for joining us, for willing to spend time to share your insights with your juniors, of LG243. Thank you so much. All right, so to the students, okay, if you look at the chat box, we have a message by Mr. Aizat for you to record your attendance and also receive your e-certificate. Jangan lupa isi form tu. And also next week we have another session by Izzati and fun fact, Izzati is actually from our first LG243 cohort.
Whoa.
So, yep.
What year was that?
Tak ingat. So next week we will have Miss Izzati and she's from our first cohort. So yeah. All right. So Dinie, thank you so much for joining us, and inshallah maybe we'll collaborate something for each.
Can sir. You have my number, sir.
Uh,
Also, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir Pavi. Thank you, sir Aizat. Not just for today, but
All right,
for
thank you,
for the
Dini.
past several years ago, where you've taught me so much, lah. So I really
Thank
I'm
you.
very
Yeah.
appreciative.
All right. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, dear students. Thank you, Mr. Isaac. Is for out. Okay. Bye, guys. Take care.
Saya Aizat kat luar tu.
Yeah, kat luar. I'm actually at Ayam Gepuk.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay.
Nice to
Bye,
see you
Miza.
again,
Thank
Dinie.
you. Bye, everyone.
Nice to see you.
All right.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a good day,
All right.
everyone. Assalamualaikum.
okay. Have a good day. Waalaikumsalam. Good night. Have a good weekend.